majority of each of the two groups of members present, I declare the motion as amended passed.
Members' motion with no legislative effect. Mr. Jimmy NG will move a motion on accelerating the development of the Hong Kong Park in the Loop to create new economic growth points. Members who wish to speak, please press the Request to Speak button. I now call upon Mr. Jimmy NG to speak and move the motion. President, I move the motion as printed on the agenda be passed. Now, my motion provides that we should accelerate the development of the Hong Kong Park in the Loop to create new economic growth points. I'm concerned about I&T. I'm also concerned about the opportunities brought about by innovation technology. This can help drive economic transformation. Now, I talk about I&T first. Some say that Hong Kong excels in financial services. What about I&T? Well, let's hear from the founder of artificial intelligence, Mr. Huang. When he visited Hong Kong to receive an honor from Hong Kong UST, he said that Hong Kong's AI development is world class, and he also mentioned the research papers on AI published by the universities in Hong Kong have been frequently cited. We have 5 universities in Hong Kong that are among the top 70, and there are also 3 of them within the top 50 universities, and we have advantages when it comes to the upstream R&D. Now, let me talk about downstream. We must break new grounds. We should expedite upgrade and transformation. And that means we should leverage on the major driver of the Hong Kong Park in taking the transformation forward. Now, 2 months ago, the development outline for the Hong Kong Park of the Hetao Shenzhen Hong Kong Science and Technology Innovation Cooperation Zone was published. The development outline refers to 8 chapters. It sets out the vision and mission, the 4 development directions, and they include building a world-class industry academia research platform, establishing an international competitive R&D transformation pilot production base for industries, and foster a hub for pooling R&D resources and testing ground for policy innovation, etc. Now, these 4 directions are very clear. Now, we excel in R&D, but we're not doing as well when it comes to downstream commercialization. That is because of the limitations of our market size. We need to break this bottleneck in order to excel, and that means we need to work with other cities in the Greater Bay Area. The Greater Bay Area spans a total of 56,000 kilometers. It's greater than any bay. It's bigger than any bay in the world, Bay Area in the world. With a total population of 86 million, we must grasp this opportunity by making this pie even bigger, so that we make use of the consumption market and the mature industry chains here to promote commercialization of R&D results. Now, after promulgation of the development outline, a number of universities have already expressed their interest in setting up a presence in the Hong Kong Park. This will give a very positive effect to taking R&D further or deeper. Now, I think the prerequisites are for us to build a better tie between midstream and downstream operations so as to create new quality productive forces. Usually, we need 3 major elements of production. That is capital, land, and manpower. Now, let me talk about all these 3 elements. Capital is crux to any startups. As demonstrated by the World Bank data, a 10% increase in the number of startups could bring 2.4% of per capita average growth in GDP and 2.9% of productivity growth. That means startups could drive economic development in a sustainable manner. However, I&T startups only accounted for 1% of total GDP in Hong Kong. While the government has rolled out the accelerator pilot scheme, it is a matching fund with a ratio of 1 to 2. I think there is room to refine the scheme. A flexible approach can be taken. Depending on the features of the project, we can relax this ratio so as to help startups grow. Land is another bottleneck. Now, we need to plan ahead in order to meet future challenges. Next, I come to manpower. In order to build an internationally competitive pilot production base for industries, we need sufficient talent. Apart from the technology, we also need professionals with the technical know-how as well as business talents. Well, we need legal professionals as well. But it's not easy to achieve these objectives. We won't be able to trawl for sufficient talents. In fact, there are special talent lists drawn up by some local mainland governments. We should consider doing the same. Anyway, I come back to my point. How do we create new economic growth points? The advantage of Hong Kong lies in our connection with the world and having our motherland as a support. When it comes to trade, after commercializing the R&D results, we need to do good marketing in order to tap the e-commerce opportunities. On logistics, we need to develop ourselves into an international aviation hub and maritime center or shipping center. We need to have good connections with the rest of the world. Now, financial services remain our staple. We need to continue to strengthen our advantages because we need professionals and professional services to support IP and contracts in the trading process. We also need mediation and dispute resolution services. Now, all these cannot be achieved singly by the ITI Bureau. We need to consider how to build Hong Kong Park into a world-class I&T hub that is well connected to the mainland and to the world. And there are three suggestions. We need to show resolve in setting a timetable. In order to expedite the development, we need to lay down a very clear timetable and milestones. And second, we need to enhance internal and external ties, so to speak. That means in terms of the flow of personnel, infrastructure, policy support, we need to enhance connections. Now, facilitation is of utmost importance. In the area, special permits should be issued. There should be round-the-clock clearance to allow those who work in the park to travel across the boundary. We should also step up the development of new quality productive forces by using the Greater Bay Area as the industrial base. Now, we should also allow Hong Kong to be used as a springboard so that tech products can be exported to everywhere around the world. We should also expedite the development of innovation technology. Time doesn't wait. If we have a clear direction, we should quicken our pace and draw up relevant initiatives to support all of the orderly development. Now, I'd like to also give you two reminders. First, we should make sure that we achieve progress while maintaining stability. We must not depart from our original goal. The second reminder is that we should have regard to our local circumstances. We must keep things flexible. I encourage members to comment on my motion.
I now propose the question to you that Mr. Jimmy Ng's motion be passed. Secretary for Innovation, Technology and Industry. Deputy President, I would like to thank Mr. Jimmy Ng for proposing a motion on accelerating the development of the Hong Kong Park in the Loop to create new economic growth points, which gives us an opportunity to have in-depth exchanges. In the motion, Mr. Ng mentioned specifically I&T drives economic transformation. I believe this is also the general consensus, that is, to achieve high-quality development of the economy, I&T is definitely an important part of it. The government is actively developing I&T to create new growth points for Hong Kong's economic development, and the Loop is an important vehicle for supporting Hong Kong's future I&T development and an important engine for promoting Hong Kong's high-quality economic development. The He Cooperation Zone is one of the major collaboration platforms in the Greater Bay Area under the National 14th Five-Year Plan and consists of the Hong Kong Park and Shenzhen Park. The country attaches great importance and expectation to the development of the loop. Elevating the development of the Hong Kong Park in the loop to the national level gives the loop stronger vitality and creates a new benchmark for deepening the synergy of development of innovation, injects new impetus for Hong Kong to become an international INT center. In order to better implement the major strategic plan of the country to build the He Cooperation Zone and grasp new opportunities brought about by the development of the loop, the government promulgated the development outline for the Hong Kong Park of the He Cooperation Zone in November last year. The development outline sets out the key development directions, strategies, and objectives for the Hong Kong Park to guide the high-quality development of the park. Specifically, the development of the Hong Kong Park will follow four major directions. First, building a world-class industry, academia, research platform. Second, establishing an internationally competitive R&D transformation and pilot production base for industries. Third, fostering a hub for pooling global INT resources. And fourth, cultivating a testing ground for institutional and policy innovation. The government will, in accordance with the development directions and strategies set out in the development outline, combine the advantages of one country, two systems, and one river, two banks to promote the development of the Hong Kong Park, to develop the park into a world-class hub for technological innovation connecting the mainland and the world. The development of the Hong Kong Park is taken forward in two phases, going from west to east. With the completion of the first three buildings of the first batch of Phase 1 construction of the Hong Kong Park, the park will formally enter the operation stage later this year. The operator, that is HSRTP, Hong Kong Shenzhen Innovation and Technology Park Limited, is making preparations for the commissioning of the park and taking forward relevant work in investment promotion. We expect that the first batch of tenants from the park's pillar industries such as life and health technology, AI, and data science will start moving in later this year, gradually building a comprehensive and high-quality INT ecosystem in the loop. On development of industries, the government has been actively promoting the development of new industrialization in Hong Kong, assisting the manufacturing sector in upgrading and transforming through the use of INT, and attracting INT enterprises with great potential and representative INT enterprises to set up or expand their business in Hong Kong. In the past 2 years, we strategically launched innovative policy initiatives, including the establishment of the $10 billion INT industry-oriented fund announced by the chief executive in his latest policy address, which will set up a fund of funds to attract social capital to invest in designated industries. Separately, the government launched the $10 billion NIAS New Industrialization Acceleration Scheme in September 2024 to provide funding support for enterprises to set up new smart production facilities in Hong Kong. All these initiatives support the development of pilot production as a bridge between R&D of new products and their commercialization. Pilot production is key in mass production of new products. Promoting the development of pilot production and commercialization of R&D outcomes is an important step in building an INT ecosystem. The establishment of an internationally competitive R&D transformation and pilot production base is one of the directions for development of the Hong Kong Park. Its strategic geographic advantages, together with its deep connection with the international INT network and its INT ecosystem, comprising of various sectors, are all conducive to the development of an R&D transformation and pilot production base. The government will adopt more innovative measures to accelerate the development of relevant enterprises and industries to build up the pilot production and transformation capacity of the Hong Kong Park, creating a cluster of mainland and overseas INT enterprises. President, I will listen to the views of members and respond to them in my closing remarks. Thank you, President.
Mr. Chen Kin-po, thank you, Deputy President. With the advancements in technology and transformation of industry, the Hong Kong Park in the Loop is one of the major development programs in the GBA. It embodies endless opportunities. Across the river, the park will boast the strengths of one country, two systems, and one country and one zone, two parks. The development of the Loop is a project comprising many strengths. It is in line with the global trend. In terms of geography, these Hong Kong and Shenzhen parks are only one river apart. It is very synergistic in terms of talents. Both Hong Kong and Shenzhen are determined to nurture talents and complement each other's strengths. Technological development is a major national strategy. It is also the core of the new quality productive forces. We need to seize these unprecedented opportunities to forge the Hong Kong Park as a world-class industry, academia, research platform so that world-class laboratories will be established in the area. The Hong Kong Park is located in the northern part of Hong Kong, supported by the Lok Ma Chau Spur Line. It is 87 hectares in size. There are two phases, and there are three batches of developments in the first phase. Now, the three buildings will be commissioned by the end of this year. The remaining buildings will be completed between 2027 and 8. In April, the HSITPL signed MOUs with some 60 organizations. The first batch of the organizations will move into the park. Now, the GFA is extended to 1 million meters square. This will become a high-quality INT ecosystem, attracting more organizations to join. Now, with the following points, I hope the Hong Kong zone, Hong Kong Park, can grow even bigger. Now, with the increased footfall, we need to facilitate seamless cross-boundary procedures, that is contactless customs clearance procedures for the talents working in the park. Now, in Shuttlecock, the Zhongying Street, the government has implemented the first pilot scheme on facial recognition for customs clearance. If this is a success, we need to work closer with the Shenzhen Municipal to enhance our cross-boundary transportation network and ensure that there are sufficient transport plying between the two places. This will enhance the in-depth economic collaboration and integration with the two places. Now, we have invested more than 32 billion Hong Kong dollars in the area. Hong Kong and Shenzhen needs to have a clear division of labor. For example, the mainland focuses on AI and production. On the other hand, we are focusing on talent attraction and also clinical trial and accreditation of clinical products. And we can help the products produced in the mainland to go global. Now, we have 5 top 50 universities and also 2 medical schools ranking top 40 in the world. We have a lot of experience in testing and accreditation. Now, we need to encourage more research and education bodies to collaborate and promote transformation and commercialization of our medical products. Now, with an aging population and higher demand in healthcare, there is much potential in the industry. The government should formulate a long-term plan to support healthcare bodies to introduce more advanced technologies and enhance training for medical talent. We boast international financial markets and a common law system accepted by the West. We are also an important arbitration center, providing multiple capital financing channel for companies. Now, we can help nurture startups in the country. We can help them align with international laws and align and enter the international markets. With more cases of success, we can build our brand and attract more quality organizations to move into the park. I so submit. Mr. Ronnie Chen, Deputy President, INT is the engine for driving economic growth. It is also the core of new quality productive forces. The loop is a collaboration zone between Hong Kong and Shenzhen. It is located in the interchange of the Northern Metropolis and the I&T corridor. It is a place where I&T resources merge. I thank Mr. Jimmy Ng for moving today's motion. The government should seize our geographical advantages and allocate sufficient resources to promote the development of the I&T industry and promote our economic development. I support the motion. Now, the Hong Kong Park in the loop's major role is a platform to attract I&T resources. If we can build this platform into a brand, we can enhance the impact, attractiveness, and also the viscosity of the park. Now, in the Shanghai area, the loop area can be developed into a special region of I&T in the country. Now, in November, the development outline for the Hong Kong Park of the zone was published. There will be 2 5-year phases development. By 2035, the comprehensive development pattern will emerge. However, technology doesn't wait for anyone. We can't be dragged behind by the development hurdles. Now, besides streamlining the development process and also streamlining the allocation of resources, we need to learn from the Shenzhen government to speed up development of the Hong Kong Park. I hope that the timetable can be further compressed. Development of the park and the future developments relies on people. Employees of the organizations, students, and teachers are the stakeholders in the future zone. We need to create conditions for them to give full play to their talents. We need to ensure that they have a comfortable and convenient life in the zone so that they can reap the fruits of the labor in Hong Kong. Now, industry, academia, and research partners must work closely together. Now, we have 5 top 100 universities, and also we have a lot of national key laboratories covering agriculture, life and health technology, and biotech. Now, this is the pillar of the zone. Universities must review its structure, and also provide continuous supply of talent. Now, the industry must have a platform to transform and commercialize its products. Collaboration between industry, academia, and research can be translated into huge advantages, attracting more players to join. Now, the convenience of cross-boundary travel will affect the willingness of talents to move in. This is even more so for those who work in the zone. That's why we need to streamline the customs clearance procedure. I know the government has been working with the Shenzhen counterpart concerning the contactless customs clearance procedures. If there can be a dedicated lane for those who work in the park in Huanggang port, we can further enhance the convenience. Now, Mr. Jimmy Ng mentioned that the midstream players must be linked with the upstream and downstream players for commercialization and mass production. Now, the pilot testing industry in the country is sizable. Now, together with the Northern Metropolis plan, we need to forge a world-class pilot testing base for the country's innovation. Now, with reliable IP protection regime as well as a flexible listing regime and also in situ financial support, we can attract more players to join. Now, I&T is a major arena for countries in the world. Now, we need to seize this opportunity to brandish our brand. Thank you. Ms. Chen Yuming. Thank you, Deputy President. On today's motion, I have 2 points to make. One, we need to expedite the collaboration between Hong Kong and Shenzhen in I&T. The country attaches much importance to the developments of the loop. Now, in August 2023, the arrangement between the Shenzhen plan was announced by the State Council. This is a site for seizing the major opportunities brought about by the new wave of I&T revolution. This is an important place. It will build a mechanism with alignments with the international market. It will also harness the power of complementary strengths in the Pearl River Delta. Now, Shenzhen has a rich atmosphere for innovation, and there are lots of application scenarios. The ecosystem is comprehensive, and there is a huge market. In terms of frontier technologies, Shenzhen is leading Hong Kong. However, we are a small and open economy. We have an international market. We have a lot of world-famous universities. We have rich teaching and teaching resources. This is what Shenzhen lacks. So cooperation is key. The development outline for the Hong Kong Park published by the government mentioned the Indo-Hong Kong cluster, national key laboratories, and also industry research base, and also pilot and testing platforms for industries. There are 6 key strategies, but these are only strategies laid down by the Hong Kong SL government. It is not a collaboration with the Shenzhen counterpart. So overall speaking, there is little mentioning of collaboration with Shenzhen and other GBA cities. Now, I am concerned about when the contactless customs clearance model can be implemented and whether this can be applied to more boundary control points. And also, synergistic developments of advanced manufacturing. Now, it is only 87 hectares in size. Objectively speaking, it is not huge. For example, the Stanford area in US and also the I&T park in Japan, they are hundreds or even 1,000 hectares large. Now, in Beijing, the park is 10,000 hectares in size. And also, there are questions with the Hong Kong park's developments. How can we develop the industry of advanced manufacturing in the northern metropolis? Now, Shenzhen is not huge, but it is already the leading industrial city in the country. Now, the value-added contribution to the country's GPA accounts for 1/7 of the country's GPA. Now, in 2024, there were 2.8 million EVs produced. Now, in Shanghai, in terms of integrated circuit board, biomedicine, and also AI, the GPA has reached 1 trillion RMB. It is also the place where the famous C919 aircraft is built. Now, I&T and industrial contributions accounts for much of these 2 cities' GPDs. Now, if products are manufactured in these 2 cities and sold to other cities in the country, it will bypass Hong Kong. So should we seize the opportunities to develop our own advanced manufacturing industries? Now, in the New Territories North, some 55 hectares large land will be reserved for advanced manufacturing, but that's not enough. There are no similar land use planning in the 17th Technopole. Now, in the loop, there will be an AI and data science zone. However, the Super AI Computing Center has been commissioned in Cyberport, and there will also be an industrial AI park in Sandy Ridge. So I'm concerned how the government can create synergy between these AI zones in Hong Kong. These were not mentioned in the development plan. Thank you.
Mr. Jeffrey Lam, thank you. Deputy President, the Hong Kong Park of the Hetao Shenzhen Hong Kong Science and Technology Innovation Cooperation Zone will be commissioned officially this year. The Silicon Valley of the US is the cradle of innovation and technology success. because of the R&D transformation and commercialization mechanism. We have some excellent R&D institutions in Hong Kong. We have the Cyberport and Science Park. These are flagship facilities for the R&D sector in Hong Kong. They have incubators for startups. They also help commercialize R&D results. Now, what is different between these two flagship R&D facilities and the Hong Kong Park is that it is a special zone under the synergistic development model of one zone, two parks. It can help drive the development in various aspects. For example, consolidation of knowledge as well as exchange of ideas. I support the government in drawing up dedicated measures to facilitate the flow of capital, data, and personnel. These are important elements of production. Facilitation should be put in place to encourage the flow of these elements. After completing the R&D ecosystem, we can promote synergistic development. Now, a green channel should be set up to facilitate the flow of materials. Likewise, a green channel should be set up for the flow of capital. The government should consider providing facilitation measure for the flow of capital, and that adopting Hong Kong laws for Hong Kong invested enterprises and allowing arbitration under the laws of Hong Kong for Hong Kong invested enterprise there should be implemented. There should also be road shows, exhibition galleries, major recruitment efforts should be made in the form of job fairs, etc. Now, because of these efforts, it is envisaged that there will be a huge flow of personnel across two places. Apart from employees of the park, there will also be investors and other visitors to the park. Railway should be the major public transport service for the park, but it should be supplemented with bus services. Only by doing so can we provide facilitation for the flow of personnel. We should also expedite the infrastructure works for the railway line. I think this is a priority. The Kutong station for first phase will not be completed until 2027. Before its completion, there is a need to improve transport arrangements between Lok Ma Chau station and the loop. The Hetao Cooperation Zone is unique in the world in the sense that there is cooperation under one country, two systems. Hong Kong Park will be a special region within and outside our country. And it's a very innovative system and it's a testing ground. Many Hong Kong people will remember that not many years ago, Shenzhen River and the vicinity was really heavily vegetated. No development took place, but in the future, it will become the base of R&D development. We need this base to keep the startup here. We also need this place to become a place for wealth creation. I so submit. Dr. Kennedy Wong. The development plan or development outline for Hong Kong Park of the Hetao Shenzhen Hong Kong Science and Technology Innovation Cooperation Zone has been promulgated. It sets out 4 major directions. For example, we'll set up a world-class pilot production base that is internationally competitive. There will also be a world-class industry academia research platform. The focus is on internationally competitive and a pilot production base. Hong Kong excels in R&D And we have 5 universities in Hong Kong within the top 100 list. The geographical location of the loop is such that it is a strategic site with good connection with the mainland. And with our position as an international post-education hub, this could be a major pilot production base for our R&D industry chain. Now we have good R&D capabilities, as we know. However, despite achieving good results in labs, we are quite far away from developing high-tech products of scale on our own. This is how the cooperation comes in. This can help drive transformation of R&D outcomes in the whole Greater Bay Area. Now, the Hong Kong Park is a good starting point. We can leverage on the R&D capabilities in Hong Kong to meet the needs of industries in the mainland. This can help us tap the vast mainland and overseas market. We can form a hub. The motion also refers to the government's promulgating or formulating a comprehensive blueprint and introduce more support measures to assist industry development. I hope that this blueprint will set out very clearly the strategic plans for this site in the loop. It's also a hub for high-caliber talents, and that is why we need good planning to optimize the use of land. For phase 1, the total floor area distribution is such that we can promote R&D. We can also enhance the site as a pilot production base. However, the total GFA only accounts for 5%, whereas for the tenant apartments and accommodation for visitors, the area accounts for 10% of the total. So I think that the government should review the distribution to ensure proper allocation of land resources. The size is limited, and of course there won't be a lot of facilities available. And for those who work in the Hong Kong Park, of course they should be given more support for them to live in a more comfortable environment. Now, as we trawl for tech talents in the mainland and overseas, we should give them more incentive to stay and work in Hong Kong. That is why we should step up other support services and such as transport to facilitate the commuting of personnel in the park. So that means we can redistribute the floor area for different functions so as to help us meet the objective of making a pilot production base for industries. Ms. Sari Lee. First of all, I thank Mr. Jimmy NG for moving this motion on accelerating the development of the Hong Kong Park in the Loop to create new economic growth points. Indeed, the Hong Kong Park in the Loop will play a pivotal role in creating new economic growth points. Innovation and technology are the major drivers of economic development around the world. All economies around the world are investing heavily in I&T so as to get ahead. Life in health, tech, and AI are all priorities. Now, this cooperation zone is the priority of our country. It is also a very important tool in building a strong nation in I&T for our country. Hong Kong, it is the bridgehead for Hong Kong to be integrated in the country's development plan. The government attaches great importance to the park. The development outline has been promulgated. It marks a very important milestone for Hong Kong's development as an international I&T center. Not only will it allow for Hong Kong to upgrade and transform its economic base. It will also help Hong Kong scale new heights in R&D development. Now, we've achieved some results. In August 2023, the country promulgated the development plan for Shenzhen Park of Hetao Shenzhen Hong Kong Science and Technology Innovation Cooperation Zone. It shows that our country attaches great importance to the development of the cooperation zone in the Greater Bay Area. In November last year, the SAR government also promulgated the development outline for Hong Kong Park of the cooperation zone. It sets out 4 major directions. The key is whether our new thinking can be adopted, and that with the support of the central authorities in the Greater Bay Area, we'll be able to achieve win-win. Now, some members have spoken on the topic. I have the following suggestions. We need to improve our policies to a cross-boundary policy to create synergy. The Secretary attaches great importance to the development of the loop, and we exchanged views with the Secretary on numerous occasions. For example, in the plenary session in March last year, we proposed a number of initiatives such as facilitation measures for the movement of biological samples, as well as the approval of new drugs, facilitation of flow of capital across the boundary. Now, comparing to Shenzhen Park, Hong Kong Park is really small. We need to work with each other to create synergy. As for Hong Kong Park in the loop, we have a role to play. That means we need to take forward innovative experiments to benefit the loop as a whole. The SAR government and the central authorities are in active discussion, and we've achieved progress when it comes to the flow of capital. Facilitation measures have been put in place to attract mainland enterprises to develop here. On tax incentives, there are tax concessions on R&D expenditure by these enterprises. There are also other policies relating to tax exemptions for 3 years for R&D personnel in the cooperation zone. On cross-boundary movement of biological examples, along with other NPC deputies, I've mentioned a number of times that we should set up a pilot to allow the flow of data and biological samples across the boundary. When it comes to data security, biosecurity, or security in general, our country does have its own considerations. So I urge the SAR government and different sectors of the community to support our government so that we can strive for support from the central authorities to make a breakthrough in terms of the flow of biosamples and data across the boundary. Now, Hong Kong Park in the loop is very small. In order to build ourselves into an international hub for high caliber talents, we need to work with Shenzhen Park. We should allow our talents to work in Hong Kong Park and allow them to stay in Shenzhen Park. That means we need policy support. The Committee on Education, Technology and Talent should give it a thought. We need talents specializing in R&D, and this is where the park comes in. I so submit. I'll stop here.
Mr. Shanghai Long, thank you. Chair, I would like to speak in Putonghua. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Jimmy NG for proposing the motion. But I note Mr. Jimmy NG would like to focus on the creation of new economic growth points for the development of industries to create impetus for growth of the economy of Hong Kong. I note that Professor Sun Dong said last year, we want to have INT contributing to the GDP. The percentage would be 5%. So this is an 8-fold increase from now. The ITIB, with the leadership of Professor Sun Dong, has promulgated the development outline for the Hong Kong Park. It is an important milestone. It will also be an important part of the implementation of the National 14th Five-Year Plan. I would like to highlight a few points. Especially with planning of the area, we have doubled the area from 540,000 square meters to 1 million square meters. We want to focus on expanding the research area in order to meet the increasing demand for R&D. But I note with the blueprint of development, there is much to improve on, especially in the second half of this year. The park will be commissioned and we have companies moving in, but there are still some difficulties, it seems. For example, for transportation. I have worked in Science Park for 7 years, and I do note the difficulties in transportation traveling to these parks. It seems that it will only be in 2034 that we will have proper transportation to the loop. If we do better in planning, because we have to consider the 50,000 population, both living and working in the area. We need to make sure they can commute to and from the loop. We need comprehensive planning. We may need a white list, or we may need to improve the clearance arrangements such as what we have in Chongying Street. Let me also declare an interest. I am a consultant for INT enterprises in Hong Kong, but we need such support. That much is obvious. We also need a platform. In the loop, we have the operator HSITP. We also have the Cyberport Limited. We also have the Hong Kong Science and Technology Parks Corporation. We also have another company. We need to make sure they are working together. We have the different R&D centers that are quasi-statutory bodies. We need to make sure that outcomes can be realized in the park. Thirdly, we need to make sure there is a coordination mechanism. In the Shenzhen Park, in the northern part, we have the State Council's plan for its development. And Shenzhen has been trying to work with Hong Kong, and Shenzhen does want to complement the advantages of the two places. So they have taken the first step. We need to do more to aid the coordination in terms of flow of different inputs. For example, for treatments, tax concessions, IP, and profit sharing arrangements, etc. I think the Hong Kong Park should look into these to provide more incentives to companies. We have 85 state-owned enterprises in the Shenzhen Park. We also need private sector input. Earlier today, I understand that one of the members was talking about land not being enough. And I think we can involve the business sector to help us with that. Thank you. I speak in support of the motion. I now suspend the meeting until 9 a.m. tomorrow.